Network News Brief. Skiers are rejoicing in British Columbia. Snow is falling in Whistler. Up to 20 centimeters could fall before the storm moves on Sunday night. The snow is due to a stationary low situated near Victoria, BC. It will also bring snow to Vancouver Island and the lower Fraser Valley. Over in Manitoba, residents are also bracing for snow. As a low-pressure system moves up from northern Texas, it will bring about 10 to 30 centimeters of snow to all of southern Manitoba starting this evening. The same system will affect northwestern Ontario tonight, where a mix of conditions from rain to freezing rain and snow are expected. A man and woman spent 4 hours on an icy river north of Georgian Bay last night. Police say the pair were trying to row a boat across a small river north of Parry Sound, but the boat got stuck in ice about halfway across. Police had to rescue them. The snowbirds who are in Florida to escape Canada's inclement weather got a surprise yesterday. Winds gusting to 80 kilometers an hour buried some coastal roads in sand and briefly knocked out power to more than 6,000 homeowners. The rough weather is blamed on a combination of an Arctic high-pressure system over the Great Lakes and a low-pressure system over the Caribbean. Stay tuned for Earthwatch News tonight. Susan Budnick-Pilon has a report on the disappointing harvests on the prairies. I'm Sherry Claridge. Your air quality readings are next.
Environmental reporting on the Weather Network includes air quality readings where available. The list of major pollutants includes sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ground level ozone, and carbon monoxide. Suspended particulate and the coefficient of haze, such as dust or grit, are also indicated. The data used in this report is provided by the provincial or municipal environmental department in your region.
Misty and moist, a description befitting Halifax, Canada's city by the sea. The capital's lush rolling hills are complemented by a climate that's steeped in mystique. Much of its magical quality stems from an average of 122 days of fog. And when it's not foggy, the dampness sets in. The city receives just under 1,300 millimeters of rain per year. What's more, the sun shines in Halifax longer than any other Atlantic capital, making it a pleasant port city all year round.
Up next, forecasts for major travel destinations throughout North America. And stay tuned. Your detailed local forecast is coming up in just 2 minutes.
Now, one number brings you all the elements. 1-900-565 weather, the official weather line. One number coast to coast for weather information specific to your needs exactly when you need it. And for the first 20,000 callers, an added advantage, the official weather line phone pass, worth $5 in free long distance calls anywhere in the world, courtesy of the Weather Network and Advantage 900. Call the weather line today, 1-900-565 weather, the official weather line.
Hi, I'm Deborah Arbeck.
I'm Al Dubois. Join us for the Morning Report, weekdays starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time.
For all the weather you need to plan your day.
It's time now for the local forecast on the Weather Network. And stay tuned. In just 2 minutes, we'll have a look at the long-range outlook for the entire country.
sharing a healthier future with Participaction. She's walking for all the right reasons: health, fitness, and relaxation. And by the way, she's also building bone mass to help prevent osteoporosis. Regular activity, another way we're all sharing a healthier future. Participaction.
Activities forecast in the west. First of all, British Columbia, southern regions. If you're planning to spend some time outdoors, it is slippery and cool because of the snow flurries and the snow already on the ground. Several reports of traffic accidents throughout southern regions of British Columbia, all due to an area of low pressure and temperatures remaining on the cool side. Cool throughout Alberta, Saskatchewan and Manitoba as well today. Wind chill values high in Alberta. They will be, well, still very cold through Saskatchewan, but light winds through the area. And temperatures, of course, below normal across the entire region. Victoria, though, mild with 6 degrees only. And through southern Ontario, the northeast mainly clear. Southern Quebec clear, New Brunswick clear as a bell, same for most of Nova Scotia and PEI. But the easternmost areas of the Maritimes still cloudy and drizzle. There's an area of low pressure that is stationary south of Newfoundland. That's why you're continuing to see some drizzle, and it's bringing in strong winds at times. Newfoundland's much the same story. That will continue tomorrow. More importantly, though, a blizzard on the way for Manitoba and maybe parts of northwestern Ontario, but a blizzard warning has been issued for mostly the southern sectors of Manitoba, the southeast, because to the west you'll see snow but no heavy accumulation. Around 8 centimeters possible, but where the blizzard warning is issued, 20 centimeters with strong winds blowing that snow around. Whiteout conditions expected tomorrow, again in Manitoba, northwestern Ontario, and also wind chill values will be very high with very cool temperatures. More coming right up.
She charges anything, even a massage, on her GM Visa. She earns 5% towards a new GM vehicle just by using her GM card. What's your card done for you lately?
The Sky This Week is produced with the financial support of the Ministère québécois de l'Industrie, du Commerce, de la Science et de la Technologie.
At the end of the 19th century, people in factories began working 6 days out of 7. But why 7? 7's an odd number, and it doesn't correspond with the other units of time, like minutes, hours, and months. Was the invention of the 7-day week simply arbitrary?
Well, some biologists claim the 7-day week was imposed by our bodies. In fact, recent discoveries indicate our bodies have a 7-day metabolic cycle that affects our blood pressure, heart rate, and immune system. Others claim that our metabolism has simply adapted to the modern workday week. But according to astronomers, the 7-day week was actually established a long time ago. For ages, people have observed that the lunar cycle could be divided into quarter phases, with roughly 7 days between each quarter. For example, there are 7 days between the new moon and first quarter, 7 days between the first quarter and full moon, and so on. This became the basis of our month, 4 weeks, 7 days each. It's interesting to note that in French, the days of the week were named after the most prominent celestial objects: the Sun, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn.
But while the name Sunday is obvious in English, it's less so in French. Originally, the 7th day was named Dies Solis, Latin for Day of the Sun. But the early Christians renamed it Dies Dominicus, Day of the Savior. And the French modified that to Dimanche.
If I had a remembrance book.
I'm Karen Grassley. I played Carolyn Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie. In real life, I'm a mother of a wonderful little girl. And it's as a mom that I want to talk to you about the best of Little House on the Prairie, now at a special low price. And right now, you can get this special movie for only $4.99. Other episodes will come to you at the regular price about every other month.
Call now and you'll receive this special video about Michael Landon, free when you use your credit card.
Love each other, care about each other. It's the gift of love that's the greatest gift of all.
Call today and start your Best of Little House on the Prairie collection for just $4.99. Then come visit us at the Little House whenever you want. Call now.
To order or call 1-800-654-6699. Use your credit card and receive Michael Landon Memories with Laughter and Love free. Or send $4.99 plus $3.49 shipping to the address on your screen.
Looking at the international forecast on the weekend report. Down under, cloudy and wet in eastern regions of Australia as well as through New Zealand. Not bad to the west of the country. We're dealing with some scattered afternoon showers or thunder showers through the Philippines, Hong Kong, not bad, and Japan will see a clearing trend. Ernie, tropical depression now expected to drop down in terms of strength and status to just an area of low pressure. European satellite image shows a lot of cloud through Italy, and this band right here pulling moisture through to Italy. We'll see rain for the southern sectors of Europe. Your details for Sunday next.
Elizabeth Wood of Hamilton asks a very short question: what is meant by the horse latitudes? Well, the Earth is circled by bands of winds generally blowing in the same direction. North of the equator, there's an area of steady northeasterly winds called the trade winds. In our latitudes, the prevailing winds are called the westerlies. Now, between the trade winds and the westerlies, there is a large subtropical high pressure area centered over the ocean at about 30 degrees north latitude. Now, since the air in this high pressure area is descending to the Earth, the air is warming, there are very few clouds, and it's very dry. In fact, most of the world's great deserts are found along this latitude belt. These latitudes also experience long periods of weak or sometimes completely dead wind. Before the days of steam, Spanish sailing vessels carrying horses to the New World would occasionally get stalled by weeks of calm weather under a blistering sun in these low latitudes. When the ship's water and food ran short, the crew would throw the starving horses overboard. The corpses of these horses, floating on the calm waters, led to the term horse latitudes. I'm David Phillips of Environment Canada for the Weather Network.
You're watching the Weather Network, covering weather and environmental issues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, exclusively on cable.
Well, as you know, there is a major system reaching into Manitoba, northwestern Ontario tonight and tomorrow. Well, into the northwestern part of Texas and Oklahoma, the same system bringing tornado warnings to the area. So an intense area of low pressure will be making its way through central regions of the U.S. and Canada. The across Canada picture, we'll start with the satellite image quickly, where we have an area of low pressure that is moving through Oklahoma, and it will be bringing in a risk of thunderstorms and tornadoes with warnings issued for northwest Texas and Oklahoma. What's relevant about this system? Well, it's moving in due north into northwestern Ontario, Manitoba, and blizzard warnings have been issued for Manitoba. I'll come back to that in just a little bit. Area of low pressure continuing to bring some snow flurries and white dusting in through southern sectors of BC. Some reports of road accidents all in and around British Columbia, southern regions into the interior, mountain passes as well, and reports of some power failures because of the heavy snow on power lines. Again, area of low pressure bringing tornado warnings all along the frontal zone in the U.S., but that will bring a lot of moisture in terms of snow into Manitoba. Western Ontario, namely in through Kenora, Dryden area. Ahead of that, clear with an area of high pressure for southern and eastern Ontario, southwestern Quebec, New Brunswick, but the eastern Maritimes dealing with windy conditions and drizzle. So the snow continuing to fall, 10 centimeters possible on the ground for southern British Columbia, 20 over higher elevations. May see even more than that in Windsor, and outflow winds expected to continue for central and northern coastline regions. Also, the interior, the western portion along the Rocky Mountains could see some snow up to 10 centimeters in these areas, Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. Snowfall advisory, Brandon, the Dauphin area will be dealing with about 8 centimeters of snow, elsewhere up to 20 centimeters, but a blizzard warning issued for Winnipeg City, Interlake regions, Red River regions as well, with strong winds, cold temperatures, and heavy snow. It will be a winter storm to remember tomorrow.
The information in this Healthy Environment segment has been provided by Health Canada and Environment Canada.
Every time we burn fuels such as wood, oil, natural gas, or gasoline, combustion pollutants are released into the air. Indoor sources of combustion pollutants include oil and gas furnaces, clothes dryers, water heaters, ranges, block chimneys, and smoking. High levels of such pollutants are harmful to our health. We can't always see or smell combustion pollutants, so we need to make sure that furnaces, water heaters, dryers, ranges, and chimneys are checked annually by professionals. We should also never leave a vehicle idling in the garage and never use a barbecue indoors. Common sense says that whatever is in the air finds its way into our lungs, and healthy lungs need clean air. For more information, contact Can Do, the movement for clean air now, at 1-800-972-2636.
The Continental picture, looking at the precipitation map, we are tracking an area of low pressure right through northwest Texas into Oklahoma, and see this red band of precipitation. Those are severe thunderstorms, and there's a severe thunderstorm watch. In fact, now it's a tornado warning for northwestern Texas and the state of Oklahoma. With this important area of low pressure continuing to progress further north, we'll see snow, blowing snow, and blizzard conditions for Manitoba, perhaps parts of northwestern Ontario tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at the systems map for tonight. It should be reaching into Minnesota by tonight, and that's when the snow and the possible freezing rain moves into northwestern Ontario. In through Thunder Bay, shower activity. Most of the accumulation of snow will be west of the region. Ahead of this system, clear for southern and eastern Ontario, to the northeast as well, Quebec, New Brunswick, Cape Breton, Newfoundland, cloudy and wet, and the flurries will continue for the southern regions of the interior of BC, central sectors as well, and the coastline. By tomorrow, some of that precipitation will be tapering off for British Columbia. If you're heading down in through northern California, some shower activity expected. Sunshine returning to Phoenix And as I mentioned, Southern California, we'll see sunshine in New Mexico, and we'll see the sun returning also for Texas. Snow and blizzard-like conditions will continue in Manitoba and parts of northwestern Ontario. Quickly in Alberta for the game tomorrow in Calgary, 4 o'clock local time. It will be cold with scattered flurries for the Battle of Alberta between the Edmonton Eskimos and the Calgary Stampeders. Sunshine for eastern Ontario. Southwestern regions will see increasing cloud. Temperatures will be mild for the end of the weekend for those sectors. Maritime provinces will see temperatures warming up as well, especially into New Brunswick. Right now, your latest conditions. Evening forecast for this evening. Well, the evening forecast for this evening. Regional forecast for this evening. British Columbia, flurries continuing. We'll see driving conditions deteriorating through this evening as the rain that you may be experiencing over the extreme southwestern coastline of British Columbia turns into flurries later on as temperatures drop off to the freezing mark. Winds also around 30 kilometers per hour, so temperatures will be cool in British Columbia, breezy in through the central coastline, and outflow winds moderate to strong with a wind warning for the central and northern coastline. Flurries continuing in Alberta and Saskatchewan with some breaks in the cloud. However, there's no real system to speak of, just some scattered precipitation. Ice crystals could again be in the air for both provinces, and definitely cold this evening. Cold snow beginning this evening in Manitoba. Winds picking up as well, and again a blizzard warning for Manitoba, Winnipeg, Interlakes, for example. Northwestern Ontario, excluding Thunder Bay, has a severe heavy snowfall warning in effect for the region. 20 centimeters possible. West of the system into Brandon Dauphin, it's about 8 centimeters, but again the winds will be a problem, so when you wake up tomorrow you won't see much out the window except for white snow blowing around in all kinds of directions. Northeastern Ontario, well, you're in the warm sector here. From winds from the south will allow temperatures to remain mild in southwestern Ontario this evening as well. If you're heading out in Metro, Hamilton, St. Catharines, into Niagara Falls, mild conditions continuing this evening. Well, Ottawa still a little on the cool side, but it's going to warm up for tomorrow. Same for southwestern Quebec. And for the Maritimes, a little cool, breezy continuing for this evening, especially Nova Scotia, PI, Cape Breton, it'll be windy. Same for Newfoundland with drizzle continuing there, and that will continue into tomorrow as well. Stay with us. All your local weather details are coming right up.
It's time now for the local forecast on the Weather Network. And stay tuned. In just 2 minutes, we'll have a look at the long-range outlook for the entire country.
By partnership, driven by performance. The same motto that propels this rowing team to the top is the guiding principle at Dynamic Mutual Funds. Along with your independent financial advisor, you have a dynamic team of dedicated managers, partners, pulling together to achieve the only financial goals that really matter, yours. Dynamic Mutual Funds, your partner for dynamic performance.
Looking ahead now, the extended forecast First with Monday, mild weather expected for the Maritimes and some sun. Newfoundland, though, will see some cloud and some drizzle. Cold front will cross through Ontario and Quebec, bringing shower activity, especially in through southern Ontario. Cool conditions in through northwestern regions into Manitoba. Clouds stretching all the way into BC. On Monday, a little on the wet side for southern BC, but then it should dry out along the coastline with flurries, though, in the interior. Overcast conditions with flurries for Alberta and southwestern Saskatchewan, and a clearing trend for Ontario. But as the cold front continues to sweep through Atlantic regions, we'll see showers, periods of rain on Wednesday, so a wet day for the Maritimes. Variable skies between two systems for Ontario and western Quebec, and some cloud dominating with cool conditions still for Wednesday in Manitoba, as well as Saskatchewan. But more sun expected in BC and Alberta, however, by Wednesday. Let's take a look at the temperature map. Very mild on Monday for central or Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes, but temps remain very cool right across the western provinces all the way into Wednesday. Your details next.
Hey, you want to go out? Hot Paws gloves, winter's best friend.
In 1996, the Canadian Red Cross marks 100 years of humanitarian service. To continue its work in community-based services, the Red Cross needs our help. So please, Canada, let's give generously.
Hi, I'm Michelle Skierman in Kemptown, Nova Scotia. Tonight on Earthwatch News, we'll tell you why this bridge is garnering international attention.
The Weather Network's date file has two entries for November 16th. On this date in 1991, a major wind and rainstorm continued to batter the southern coast of British Columbia. Gusts ranged between 100 and 150 kilometers per hour and caused severe damage. The winds downed trees and power lines, knocking out electricity to more than 10,000 homes. Damage from the storm was estimated at over $1 million. And on this date in 1989, a strong cold front swept across southern Quebec. The frontal system moved in from the northwest and spawned an unusual November tornado in the Montreal region. The twister caused the most extensive damage in Mont-Saint-Hilaire, a town about 30 kilometers east of Montreal. Gusts reached up to 180 kilometers per hour, damaging 60 houses. More than 20 families were left homeless. The vicious winds also damaged a shopping center and knocked down hundreds of trees and power lines. That's the Weather Network's date file for November 16th.
Hello, I'm Sherry Claridge with the Weather Network News Brief. Skiers are rejoicing in British Columbia. Snow is falling in Whistler. Up to 20 centimeters could fall before the storm moves on Sunday night. The snow is due to a stationary low situated near Victoria, BC. It will also bring snow to Vancouver Island and the lower Fraser Valley. Over in Manitoba, residents are also bracing for snow. As a low-pressure system moves up from northern Texas, it will bring about 10 to 30 centimeters of snow to all of southern Manitoba starting this evening. The same system will affect northwestern Ontario tonight, where a mix of conditions from rain to freezing rain and snow are expected. A man and woman spent 4 hours on an icy river north of Georgian Bay last night. Police say the pair were trying to row a boat across a small river north of Parry Sound, but the boat got stuck in ice about halfway across. Police had to rescue them. The snowbirds who are in Florida to escape Canada's inclement weather got a surprise yesterday. Winds gusting to 80 kilometers an hour buried some coastal roads in sand and briefly knocked out power to more than 6,000 homeowners. The rough weather is blamed on a combination of an Arctic high-pressure system over the Great Lakes and a low-pressure system over the Caribbean. Stay tuned for Earthwatch News tonight. Susan Budnick-Pilon has a report on the disappointing harvests on the prairies. I'm Sherry Claridge. Your air quality readings are next.
If you dream of getting back to the basics, enjoying the simplicity of unspoiled nature, maybe you should consider a visit to Alberta's Lake.